Chapter 301, Fang Yuan vs. Zhu Ba, 2. Looking at the number 8 expert in 4th Inner City Senior Zhu Ba, beaten till he vomited blood by a newcomer, this scene overturned many people's expectations. But Zhu Ba was still an experienced veteran. He suddenly shouted, stretching out both arms and tightly hugged Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan felt that he was wrapped by cotton. The fat meat squeezed at him from all directions, causing him to be unable to move. He punched and kicked, hitting flesh with every hit. Zhu Ba's bones were broken, and his flesh was beaten to pulp, mashed under his skin. But Zhu Ba gritted his teeth, forcefully trapping Fang Yuan. He was almost beaten senseless by Fang Yuan, but the only clear thought on his mind reminded him, if he let this monster out, he would be in deep trouble. As the space around him was squeezed, Fang Yuan snorted, showing no fear as he activated the all-out effort Gu. A green bull phantom appeared in mid-air. A new beast phantom. Bai Ningbing saw this and her pupils shrunk. Secretly, Fang Yuan had already grown this powerful. If I go against him, with just my Gu worms, I'm afraid. Bai Ningbing's heart sank. The bull's strength was strong and lasting. Fang Yuan stretched out his arms and pulled Zhu Ba's fat arms that were tightly coiled around him. Comparing strength, how could Zhu Ba be his match? Zhu Ba tried his best, his arms were shivering, and sweat poured down like rain, but he could not stop Fang Yuan. Damn it, if he gets loose, I am done for. Zhu Ba felt an intense feeling of unease. The intense premonition of death was causing him to feel extremely scared. I admit defeat. He screamed. Compared to his life, what was fame? The hosting Gu master immediately used the battle stage to forcefully separate the two. The battle has been decided, Fang Zheng wins, Zhu Ba loses. The hosting Gu master announced. The crowd gasped. He actually won. Zhu Ba is just a paper tiger, pretending to be strong on the outside. I was almost fooled by him. Zhu Ba can't even beat a newcomer. How can he be the number 8 expert? This is truly shameful for our 4th inner city battle stage. Zhu Ba's pathetic state now destroyed the image he had painstakingly built up over the years. Bai Ningbing heard the chattering, and shook her head internally. Zhu Ba has been an expert for many years. He is definitely strong. Unfortunately he met Fang Yuan. Zhu Ba's fighting style was countering his opponent's attacks. First using defense to waste his opponent's primeval essence and stamina, then counterattacking to win. But he fought against Fang Yuan, this monster, as a strength cultivator, coupled with the heavenly essence treasure lotus. He has endless primeval essence. Stamina is also his forte as a strength cultivator. The two countered each other in different aspects, but the tougher one won. Speaking of which, it was rather ironic. Bai Ningbing changed her style, becoming more scheming and devious. Fang Yuan was also changing. From his former scheming style, he started fighting with raw power, a forthright style that goes all in. The two seemed to have swapped styles. Zhu Ba fell and admitted defeat, losing to Fang Yuan. His reputation was completely tarnished. Good job. Below the stage, Wei Yang laughed as he said to Fang Yuan. This was Fang Yuan's first battle in 4th inner city, thus Wei Yang came to watch. Fang Yuan's performance was out of Wei Yang's expectations. Wei Yang was very concerned about Fang Yuan, one because of the clan leader's orders and mission, but also because of their friendship. Maybe you were born for the strength path. At the banquet, Wei Yang exclaimed. He patted Fang Yuan's shoulders. I walked on the strength path in the past, but failed. Now, I see hope in you. Do you know, many eyes are watching you now. Continue walking on this path without doubt. Fang Yuan nodded. He knew his circumstance. He had just risen to 4th inner city, and met Zhu Ba, defeating him. Getting famous overnight, many were taken aback. This battle had just ended, but he had received many people's forceful challenge. These people were mostly Strength Path Gu masters, coming after his all-out effort Gu. The better he performs, the greater the value of the all-out effort Gu, and the more greed it attracts. Right now, those that were coming for him were all experts in Fourth Inner City. Henceforth, his predicament would only get tougher. But the tougher it got, the more his battle intent surged, as Fang Yuan felt his blood burning. Just this level of risk and difficulty, what are they? How can they stop me, Fang Yuan's advancement? In this world, nobody is capable of ending my ambitions. 8 days later, he fought Jin Bian Yuan. After fighting evenly for a while, he unleashed his beast phantoms, destroying Jin Bian Yuan's core defensive Gu worm, killing him on the spot. 10 days later, Liao Huadong, who is famed for aggressive attacks, fought against Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan fought attack with more attacks, taking him down head-on. If not for the hosting Gu master, Liao Huadong would have been dead. 17 days later, Zhongde, who has the strength of 5 tigers, fought an exciting match against Fang Yuan, but was beaten like a dead dog, lying on the ground, motionlessly. Time continued to pass by, as Fang Yuan won again and again. There were many experts in Fourth Inner City, but Fang Yuan's growth was insane. Be it cultivation, addition of new Gu worms, or other these aspects. The more he won, the more primeval stones he received. He fought his way through, advancing bravely. Every match was a treat to watch for the spectators. But on the other hand, he was very vigilant. He had never looked down on any opponent, getting all the information he needed beforehand. With Wei Yang and Li Ran, one having authority while the other one has an underground network, Fang Yuan could gather all the information necessary before a battle. He was not a brainless brute, he only accepted 4 matches a month. Although forceful challenge was a rule, to prevent intentional targeting, the challenged Gu master can have 8 days of rest time after every match. Fang Yuan used this time to prepare himself adequately, ignoring the taunting from others. He focused on cultivating. The battle stage's purpose was to assess and train himself, as well as a source of revenue. He had become famous. His victories caused his name to spread wide. The strongest newcomer in history. The star of hope in reviving strength path. The ferocious and ruthless beast. Many titles were bestowed onto him, depicting his traits: newcomer but has an amazing win record, owns the all-out effort Gu, ruthless and cruel, never letting go of an enemy he can kill, and others. 3 months passed like this. This day, in the secret room, Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing sat opposite each other. Bai Ningbing placed both palms on Fang Yuan's back, injecting her snow-silver primeval essence into him. The primeval essence were converted over by the flesh-bone unity Gu. After some losses, they were injected into Fang Yuan's aperture. In the aperture, primeval essence ebbed and flowed, as waves crashed and assaulted the aperture walls. Swish swish swish. The tides rose and fell, never ending. The white light walls were assaulted and started to change. A moment later, the light walls were replaced by water walls, as the white light flowed like water, causing the aperture walls to become thicker and stronger. From rank 3 initial stage, he advanced to middle stage. Fang Yuan only used a few months. This was all due to the flesh-bone unity Gu and Bai Ningbing. The higher the Gu master's rank, the larger the difference between their cultivation across small realms. Bai Ningbing was rank 3 peak stage. It was very helpful to Fang Yuan. This speed, if exposed, would cause a great commotion. Even Fang Yuan, who was knowledgeable, felt secretly shocked. But Bai Ningbing, who was a former 10 extreme physique and had a monstrous cultivation speed, did not feel any shock towards Fang Yuan's advancement. If Bai Ningbing was rank 4, using the light gold primeval essence, Fang Yuan's cultivation speed would be increased further. Feeling the change in Fang Yuan's aura, Bai Ningbing knew he had succeeded and retracted her palm. So how, in a few days, you will reach 4th inner city battle stage? Are you interested in raising your cultivation to rank 4? Fang Yuan turned around and asked. The higher Bai Ningbing's cultivation was, the faster he could cultivate himself. No need, if you can stand firm with rank 3 cultivation and fight your way through, so can I. Bai Ningbing snorted coldly, not showing any nice expressions. Fang Yuan. But at the end, she added, my aptitude rose again, reaching 92%. At this rate, when are you going to give me the Yanggu? Oh. That's fast. Fang Yuan was shocked. He knew a lot about the 10 extreme aptitude, but the details were not in depth. Even though poison vow was removed, Bai Ningbing still served a huge purpose. You don't have to worry, with me around, I can protect your life. We used the poison vow Gu before, even if you don't trust me, surely you trust the Gu's power. Humph. Bai Ningbing did not rebuke him. These last few months she spent with Fang Yuan were the most peaceful period of her life. As the two worked hard together, and with the poison vow Gu allowing them to form an alliance. But it seems. This guy, he's growing faster and gaining more rewards. Regarding this, Bai Ningbing had a clear understanding of their differences. Her improvement was large, but his was larger. These few months, Fang Yuan not only gained the strength of a turtle, but also used the rank 3 bronze skin Gu, giving his skin another layer of defense. Rank 2 bronze skin Gu can only give the Gu master's skin increased defense for a limited period of time. The rank 3 bronze skin Gu, used one's own body and grants this defense to their body permanently. Now, Fang Yuan's skin is bronze color, like he had undergone a suntan. Iron bones, steel tendon, bronze skin, with golden shield Gu, Fang Yuan's defense was at initial success stage. Even among 3rd inner city battle stage, it is sufficient to deal with any strong foe. As for the canopy Gu, Fang Yuan had already sold it. It overlapped with the golden shield Gu, and did not suit Fang Yuan's fighting style. Just as Fang Yuan advanced to middle stage, a group of people arrived outside Xianxia City. Xianxia City. Guyu Fangzheng is inside her. Tai Ruanan thought as she walked ahead of everyone. Tai Dao Ku greets young master. Tai Dao Ku rapidly paid his respects. Chapter 302, Tai Ruanan. Tai Dao Ku, what happened to your eyes? Tai Ruanan saw Tai Dao Ku wearing a black eye patch and asked in surprise. Tai Dao Ku showed an embarrassed expression, speaking the truth, my eyes were injured by Bai Ningbing. A few months ago, he had a battle with Bai Ningbing, and suffered a great setback. Losing his left eye, his battle strength fell drastically, and with the hand blade Gu mercilessly taken by Bai Ningbing, he was no longer her match. But Tai Dao Ku did not give up. He had a determined heart, gritting his teeth and relied on the battle stage, along with taking some jobs of escorting and investigating, to survive in Xianxia City. He was like a lone wolf licking his wounds, as he observed Fang and Bai secretly, slowly gaining back his strength as well as reporting to the clan. Precisely because of his letter, Tai Ruanan brought a team here personally. Bai Ningbing actually injured you. Tai Dao Ku, your intel had some errors, why did you not mention this in your letter? Tai Ruanan frowned, slightly unhappy. How could I have the face to say it? Tai Dao Ku laughed bitterly, he was a rank 3 Gu master, he had his pride and dignity. But towards Tai Ruanan's accusation, he lowered his head, answering, "It was my mistake." He was a proud man, but he was very respectful to Tai Ruanan. It has been 2 years. 2 years ago, Tai Xueleng's death was reported to the clan, causing them to fall into deep sorrow. A rank 5 Gu master was a great strength, standing at the peak of the mortal realm. Even a huge clan like Tai clan would feel pain in losing one. Moreover, this was the divine investigator Tai Xueleng. His name spread throughout the southern border. He was a symbol and a flag for Tai clan. Tai Xueleng's death was a loss to Tai clan, but also a loss to the entire righteous faction. Just as the clan grieved, Tai Ruanan, as Tai Xueleng's daughter, stood up. She had been following her father, roaming the southern border. After returning to the clan, she challenged the Tai clan 13 halls, defeating her foes in the arena battles and becoming one of the 8 young masters in Tai clan. After taking over Tai clan's internal affairs, she cracked many cases. Corruption and greed could not hide from her, as she brought the criminals to justice. Tai Xueleng fell, but Tai Ruanan rose, taking over her father's duty, and became the new rising star for the last 2 years in Tai clan. Tai Ruanan's name started to travel wide, and even Tai Daoist Gu, someone who was far away in Shang clan city, heard about her stories. Tai clan and Shang clan had different policies. Even if Tai Ruanan fails to attain the position of Tai clan leader, she will still be an important member, a great general protecting the mountain. She was young, but already ranked 3 upper stage. Her title of genius was true to its name. Be it Tai Ruanan's current or future achievements, it was worth Tai Daoist Gu's respect. Tai Mu, go see to his injuries. Tai Ruanan waved her hand, saying. Tai Mu had a delicate face. He was the healing Gu master in the team. He quickly went forward and checked Tai Daoist Gu's eyes in front of everyone. In just a few breaths, Tai Mu reported, "His eye is crippled, there is nothing I can do. To heal it, a rank 5 Gu master is needed." He was being humble, merely 28 years old but already rank 3 peak stage. He was a clan elite from Tai clan's side branch. Many people tried to recruit him, but he decided to serve Tai Ruanan instead. These few years, Tai Ruanan had taken the role of young master, and her forces expanded, recruiting many talented elites into her faction. Tai Mu was only one of them. In Shang clan city, there is a rank 5 expert named Dr. Su Shou. Tai Daoist Gu, take this money and go heal your eyes. Tai Ruanan took out a primeval elder Gu, and threw it to Tai Daoist Gu. Thank you, young master. Tai Daoist Gu took the Gu and showed a grateful expression. Dr. Su Shou's treatment fee was extremely expensive. He had scrimped and saved these few years, to save up enough money to heal his eyes. But 100,000 primeval stones was not a small sum. Commodity prices in Shang clan city is high, and Tai Daoist Gu had to buy a hand blade Gu. He had no opportunity to save enough money. He straightened his back. I have already reserved a garden estate for young master to stay in, please follow me. But Tai Ruanan waved her hand, no rush, bring me to Nanqiu Garden. In your report, you mentioned that Fong and Bite stayed at Nanqiu Garden, right? Yes, that is so. Tai Daoist Gu was stunned, not expecting Tai Ruanan to be so direct. Lead the way. Tai Ruanan instructed. Yes. Tai Ruanan had a swift and decisive nature, but a moment later, she was denied entry. Sorry, my 2 masters are cultivating in their secret rooms. Nanqiu Garden's doorboy respectfully said. What, scared? Trying to hide inside? Tai Daoist Gu snorted in disdain. The doorboy had been specially trained by Shang clan. He had great qualities. After giving Tai Daoist Gu a look, he remaining guarding the door firmly, not letting them through. Tai Ruanan was one of the young masters of the great Tai clan. She would not make a fuss towards a child. She smiled, taking out an invitation, passing it to the doorboy. "No worry, pass them my invitation letter. I have some relationship with your masters, we will come again at night. I will definitely convey Lord's message, but they are in closed cultivation, I cannot guarantee when they will come out. They might not come out by dinner time." The doorboy reminded before they left. Until dinner time, when Tai clan came again, they were rejected once more. "I think this Fong and Bai are afraid of young master's grandeur, hiding inside afraid to show up. Maybe they are trying to display their authority, specially targeting us." Tai clan gang guessed, speaking in indignance. They had visited twice, but were treated like this. Did they really think so highly of themselves? Even Shang clan young master would need to leave his work and come to attend to the group. "Do not be anxious, we will come again tomorrow morning." Tai Ruanan calmed the gang, handing out another invitation as she showed an expression deep in thought. On the second morning, Nan Chiu Garden closed shut again. Tai clan gang's emotions were surging, almost breaking through by force, but were halted by Tai Ruanan, who handed out another invitation. The group had just left, and Fong Yuan came out of his secret room. Tai Ruanan. Hearing the servant's report, Fong Yuan gave a weird look. He knew that this woman was Tai Shueling's daughter. Didn't she die on Qing Mao Mountain? Tai Shueling flew out of the bronze mask of the mountain giant puppet Gu, using the steel hand Gu to save Tai Ruanan. Fong Yuan and Bai Ningbing were engaging in a fierce fight at that moment, his vision obstructed by the white form immortal snake, thus he did not see it. After the fog dispersed, he was attacked by the crane group. The scene was a mess and he did not have a second to rest. Even until Bai Ningbing self-detonated, Fong Yuan did not see Tai Ruanan. Thus, in Fong Yuan's impression, he had always thought that the Tai clan father and daughter had died on Qing Mao Mountain. To think this Tai Ruanan is still alive, not only that, she even became Tai clan young master. Fong Yuan held the 3 invitations, taking a look and frowning deeply. Seeing this name, he felt a strong killing intent oozing out of his heart. This person is too much of an eyesore. A survivor of Qing Mao Mountain, had interacted with himself and Guyu Fongzheng, a huge threat to himself. If his true identity was exposed, it would affect his current peaceful lifestyle, and the haven he had painstakingly crafted in Shang Clan City would be lost. But this Tai Ruanan, Fong Yuan could not do anything to her. Tai clan young master, in Shang Clan City, he was not permitted to kill her. "I am still too weak, if I was rank 6 like back then, I could kill this small fry with one finger." Fong Yuan sighed in his heart. Although his battle strength surged, and his growth was astounding, killing Tai Ruanan had consequences the current him could not bear. In fact, he could not even use his own name at this point. There is always a mountain higher than a mountain, an expert stronger than another expert. Rank 5 was only the mortal realm peak, yet he was merely rank 3. Fong Yuan quickly sorted his thoughts. Eliminating her was the most direct method, but it could not be used, thus he had to think of a way to deal with this unwanted guest. The matter on Qing Mao Mountain was not exposed. Seeing Tai Ruanan's action, she must not know anything. Otherwise, she would not come with just this group to arrest me. She sent out 3 invitations and purposely displayed her determination of wanting to meet me. It seems she wants to learn what happened back then from me. After all, her father died on Qing Mao Mountain. Then the matter now is, I am using Gu Fangzheng's name now, will she suspect my true identity? If she has suspicions, how do I get rid of her doubts? Or even worse, if my identity is exposed, how do I salvage it? From Xianxia Fei's findings, I have an ordinary aptitude, only my brother is a great aptitude, how do I explain the change in my talent? Fang Yuan's brain rapidly worked. He was a sly schemer, having a vigilant nature, he always considered the worst outcome, and this huge crisis was no different. He quickly thought of a countermeasure. If I really get to that stage, I will sell the blood skull Gu to Xianxia Fei. He had been collecting the blood sea true inheritance, if I sell the blood skull Gu to him, he would be able to raise Xianxia's aptitude. He dotes on her so much, using the man triumphing heaven Gu for her to change her fate. He will not reject this deal. Handing over the blood skull Gu would allow Fang Yuan to explain the reason why he concealed his identity. But unless the matter had progressed to the worst stage, Fang Yuan would definitely not sell the blood skull Gu. The blood skull Gu is a divine Gu to raise geniuses for a clan. If I sell it to Shang Clan's forces would expand rapidly. Although the blood skull Gu has no value to me anymore, it is another story for others. Fang Yuan did not know Fang Zheng was still alive now, and was experiencing a rapid growth in strength. Chapter 303, I really want to kill her. Fang Yuan could not help but think again, according to Tai Clan's reaction, Tai Ruanan probably has no idea the blood skull Gu is in my hands. Maybe my great aptitude now is the greatest facade I have. Regarding this, Fang Yuan was spot on. The truth is, Tai Ruanan had never suspected Fang Yuan's identity. The reason was obviously aptitude. Tai Ruanan had always assumed that Fang Yuan was the desolate ancient moon physique. Regarding the weakness of the 10 extreme physique, she had learned much about it in Tai Clan. After such a long time had passed, if it was really Fang Yuan, he would have died long ago. Furthermore, from Tai Dao Ku's reports, Fang Yuan's fighting style of being brave and forthright, was also a testament to his identity. In Tai Ruanan's mind, Fang Zheng was the one with such a style, as for that devious Fang Yuan, how could he fight with such ferocity? On Tai Ruanan's fourth visit, she finally met Fang Yuan. In the living room, only Fang Yuan and Tai Ruanan were present, the rest were sent away. To think that you and I would meet under such circumstances. Tai Ruanan exclaimed. Fang Yuan and Fang Zheng were twins, they looked almost identical. She exclaimed, but Fang Yuan was even more emotional, sighing deeply, the past is the past. Let it stay that way, I do not want to mention it again. Tai Ruanan's eyes shone sharply, no, some things cannot be forgotten. My visit this time is for the matter back then. You must know how my father died, please tell me the truth. Fang Yuan looked at Tai Ruanan deeply, she showed no fear, staring right back at him. Her gaze showed a strong determined spirit. Her eyes and eyebrows were sharper than before, as she did not roam around these few years, her slightly dark skin had turned pale, and together with her aquiline nose and red lips, it displayed the image of a heroic female general. No doubt, she was a beauty. Although no match for Bai Ningbing and Xianxia, her body had great shape, especially the long legs. Coupled with her unique disposition, it caused her to shine among people, and lure the conquering desire of men. But Fang Yuan was not concerned with her appearance, from her gaze, Fang Yuan sensed that she had no doubt about his identity. This was good. Then next, the problem was how to explain the matter back then. Fang Yuan knew, if he did not give a proper explanation, Tai Ruanan would not let go. Regarding this, Fang Yuan had his measures. Thus, he sighed, every time I think about Qing Mao maintain, my heart aches. You may have lost a father, but I lost a clan, every single one of my family, and was forced to roam in the wilds. Although Shang Clan City is good, it is after all a foreign land, there is no feeling of home. Saying so, his eyes turned red. Seeing Fang Yuan act like this, Tai Ruanan's tough as steel gaze softened. As people in similar circumstances, both of them were victims. But compared to her, Fang Zheng, who had lost all his clansmen, was no doubt more pitiful. Do you know? You killed a young master from my clan. If I had not stopped them, you would have been trialed by my clan already. Tai Ruanan changed the topic. Fang Yuan's expression changed, rapidly explaining, I know about the matter regarding Tai Dao Ku, it was not intentional. I dug the traps to deal with the grass skirt monkeys. Who asked your Tai clan to tail after me and fall into my trap? They were asking for death, how can you blame me? A life for a life, it is perfectly justified, no. Tai Ruanan's expression turned solemn. Fang Yuan laughed coldly in his heart, if that is the case, how many lives would I need to repay them? His face showed a cold smile too. Tai Ruanan, after so many things had happened, we are no longer naive kids. Your Tai clan has no justification in this matter, the reason you did not act is because of the purple thorn token in my hand, is that not the case? Tai Ruanan replied honestly, the purple thorn token is the main reason. But it can only protect your safety in Shang Clan City, once you leave, we will not let you go. If you can tell me the truth behind the matter back then, I can assure you, as long as I live, Tai clan will not pursue you for this matter. Fang Yuan's heart was slightly shocked. This Tai Ruanan seemed to have developed well these few years. Even as a Tai clan young master, not many had this level of authority. If you do not believe me, we can use the poison Vow Gu. Tai Ruanan continued. Poison Vow Gu again. To speak the truth, Fang Yuan was already getting sick of refining the eating one's words Gu. The truth is nothing much, now that you are Tai clan's young master, can you not guess it? Fang Yuan lowered his head, secretly observing Tai Ruanan. He used this to probe her, but Tai Ruanan did not seem to notice it. The young girl smiled, actually, even if you do not say it, I have an idea already. Fang Yuan's tone changed, you know. Tai Ruanan sighed slowly, the 10 extreme physique is not a secret to the high-tier clans in the Gu Master world. Causing that scene and sealing the entire Qing Mao mountain in ice, even a rank 5 Gu Master cannot do it. But what I did not expect is, your brother was not the desolate ancient moon physique, but the northern dark ice soul physique. What? Fang Yuan called out in his mind, but his expression remained the same, only squinting appropriately. Why did she think I am the desolate ancient moon physique? Fang Yuan felt weird at the absurdity of her claim. Wait, no wonder back then, the Guyu clan leader protected me for no reason. Don't tell me, they thought my cultivation speed was due to the 10 extreme physique. As he considered this, many things started to make sense. If she thinks so, then the northern dark ice soul physique is my greatest cover. This means she had never doubted my real identity. As long as I do not show a flaw in my pretense later. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's face showed a complicated and painful expression. He did not speak, only sighing. The more he speaks, the more loopholes he creates, words lead to mistakes. Tai Ruanan looked at his expression and affirmed her guess, as her tone became softer, Fang Zheng, I know the pain in your heart is very complicated. The only who ruined your home, causing you to roam outside, and murdered your entire clan, was your own brother Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan stopped her words, his eyes turning red. Stop speaking, since you know so clearly, why must you ask me now? But I need a clear answer, all these were my assumptions. Tai Ruanan gave a forceful gaze. Fang Yuan nodded, as tears fell silently. Tai Ruanan seeing this, could not force him further, only saying dejectedly, Do you know, I had rushed back to Qing Mao Mountain, seeing the snow that engulfed the mountain, my heart was a mess. I know my father was killed by Fong Yuan. If he was still around, the hatred of killing my father is greater than the heavens. I will definitely kill him for revenge. But he is already dead. So what if I am not content with the outcome? I want to be filial to my parents, but it is too late. I want to kill the murderer, but he is already dead. It is the greatest regret in life. Tai Ruanan sighed, not knowing that her mortal enemy was right in front of her. Fong Yuan snorted coldly, showing displeasure. Fong Yuan is after all my brother, he is already dead, what more do you want? Tai Ruanan's eyes shone, I want to know some things. Back then, my father had received a mysterious letter, I know what is written in it. It says that the Guyu village contained a blood sea inheritance, thus my father disregarded his injuries and rushed to Qing Mao Mountain immediately. Do you and Bai Ningbing know about it? Fong Yuan shook his head, if I obtained it, I would have used it already. Why would I suffer so much on this journey? Tai Ruanan stared at Fong Yuan with deep meaning, the blood sea inheritance brings endless disasters. Back then, the demonic Path Gu Master Blood Sea ancestor left this vile inheritance behind. Getting to the root of the problem, my father's death was also due to this inheritance. Fong Zheng, if you really received this inheritance, I hope you can hand it over to me, and let me compensate for some of my regrets. Fong Yuan shook his head, no means no. Tai Ruanan was solemn, before speaking, according to my reports, you have a Gu in your possession that gives off a strong blood aura, you used to use it as a long-range attack. But after you convert it to a strength path cultivation, you no longer use it. Why is that? Fong Yuan was stunned, before realizing. You are suspecting me of taking the blood sea inheritance, but wanted to conceal it? Humph, you mean this Gu? Fong Yuan willed, and took out the blood moon Gu from his aperture, tossing it to Tai Ruanan. This is the blood moon Gu from my clan, did you not see my brother use it before? Back when the explosion occurred, my clan leader and Bai clan leader worked together and protected me and Bai Ningbing at the expense of their lives. The clan leader handed me his remaining Gu, and during the journey with Bai Ningbing, many Gu died of hunger, but only this blood moon Gu remained because it was easy to feed. Fong Yuan's words not only answered Tai Ruanan's inquiry, but even explained why he and Bai Ningbing were able to escape from the icy hell. Tai Ruanan inspected the blood moon Gu, her expression turning relaxed, so that's it. Your clan leader was courageous, in order to protect the bloodline, he sacrificed himself, he is truly noble. Fong Yuan snorted, that is why I have to live better, and rebuild Guyu village. Whoever dares to stop me, I will end his life. This explains why he was so cruel and ruthless in the battle stage. Although we did not spend much time together, I can evidently feel that you have changed. Tai Ruanan looked at Fong Yuan, she was only reminiscing and did not suspect him. After encountering such a trauma, most people would change, that was normal. Fong Yuan looked at her plainly, people change, didn't you change as well? Tai Ruanan shook her head, I have just been walking on my own road. After that, both of them went silent. Long after, Tai Ruanan spoke, I will bring Tai Dao Ku back. I promise you, Tai clan will no longer pursue this matter. Relying on Shang clan and rebuilding your clan is a good method, many people succeeded, and I wish you success as well. After saying that, the young girl stood up and left decisively. Fong Yuan looked at her leave, his eyes squinting. He had an obscure premonition, this Tai Ruanan was not simple, she might bring him great problems in the future. I really want to kill her in advance. Fong Yuan was filled with helpless regret. Chapter 304, Bitter Strength Gu. Tai Ruanan really left. And like she said, she took Tai Dao Ku with her. Fang Yuan understood very well what kind of person Tai Dao Ku was. Being able to fight intensely with Bai Ningbing for such a long time, he clearly was an expert and could not be looked down upon. Now, he had been recruited by Tai Ruanan. This Tai Ruanan must be eliminated, leaving her alive will be an enormous threat. Fang Yuan had an intense premonition in his heart, because Tai Ruanan, him and Bai Ningbing had a common point. They were people who found the road they want to walk on in life. Such people had great willpower and courage. As long as they didn't die prematurely, they were sure to have huge accomplishments. Tai Ruanan also had a great aptitude along with the support of Tai clan. She was one of the 8 young masters of Tai clan. Just this alone, Fang and Bai could not compare with her even with the purple thorn tokens. If our growth continues like this, she will gradually throw me and Bai Ningbing far away. Only through the 3 kings' inheritance can I decrease the gap between us. Fang Yuan made a plan. With a normal development, Fang and Bai were not Tai Ruanan's match. The latter was one of the young masters of Tai clan. The resources she received were so much that Fang and Bai could not even begin to compare. Only by walking on an uncommon route, by taking risks and shortcuts, could they decrease this gap. The 3 kings' inheritance and the great demonic righteous battle of Tian Mountain were such shortcuts. Spring came and left, autumn left and returned. The river of time continued to flow ceaselessly and over a year passed. Nan Chiu Garden, Secret Room. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged on a cushion, beads of sweat seeped out of his forehead, as he gritted his teeth and endured. He was refining Gu and it was the crucial moment. A red, orange and green sphere floated in mid-air, the size of a basket. Its lights tinged Fang Yuan's face with a variety of colors. Doing 4 tasks at once. Stone Turtle Strength Gu, go. Following Fang Yuan's will, a darkish light flew out of his aperture and pierced into the 3-colored light sphere. The addition of Stone Turtle Strength Gu immediately created an intense reaction in the 3-colored light sphere. The light sphere, which had red, orange and 3 colors, now had a dark light mixed into it. The 4 colors contended against each other but no one could overwhelm the other, and the battle became chaotic. For a moment, the 4 colors moved fiercely, just like boiling water which was being stirred by a large hand. Boom! Suddenly, there was a small explosion. The light sphere burst apart and formed a 4-colored rain. The light rain came fast and left just as quickly. In a blink of an eye, the secret room was submerged in darkness. Everything disappeared. Failed again. In the eerie darkness, Fang Yuan sighed softly. Blood slowly seeped out from his nose and due to the failure in refining Gu, his soul also received a backlash, causing him to have a burst of dizziness. This was already the 4th failure. A year and a half has gone, I have advanced to 3rd inner city from the 4th. However, I haven't been able to buy bitter strength Gu. Fang Yuan knew the reason. One was because bitter strength Gu was extremely rare and also very expensive, it rarely appeared even in Shang Clan City. Second was because Xianxia was the one who managed the shops and was obstructing Fang Yuan from the dark. Xianxia was one of the young masters of Shang Clan and was in control of the stores in Shang Clan City. Fang Yuan wanted to buy bitter strength Gu, and Xianxia possessed all kinds of ways to obstruct Fang Yuan. 2 years ago, Fang Yuan arrived at Shang Clan City and had extorted Xianxia. And after this was done, Xianxia relied on Bai Gu inheritance to pass the clan's examination and maintain his young master position. Although he was hindered by poison Bao Gu, not being able to make fatal moves against Fang Yuan, this way of taking revenge was still allowed. Xianxia was after all Shang Yanfei's son, each loss he suffered made him wiser. After the setbacks he suffered, he roused his spirit, wiped away his decadence, became cautious in indulging in wine and women, and became more shrewd. He relied on the clan's system to deal with Fang Yuan, using more hidden means that even the purple thorn token Fang Yuan possessed was of no use. Purple thorn token holders were considered Shang clan's esteemed guests. But in the end, they were outsiders and could not compare to Xianxia, who was Shang clan's young master. Since he could not buy bitter strength Gu, Fang Yuan could only attempt to refine it himself. However, the success rate in refining bitter strength Gu was really very low. Counting in today's attempt, Fang Yuan had already tried the fusion 4 times and in the process lost brown bear strength Gu, galloping horse strength Gu, green bull labor Gu and stone turtle strength Gu. Apart from these, he had also lost precious supplementary materials and large amounts of primeval stones. Fortunately, Fang Yuan was able to keep on winning at the battle stage and earn resources, allowing him to bear the cost of Gu refinement failure. Sigh, this time is also a failure. I can only wait for my injuries to recover before I try again. Fang Yuan sighed. Gu refinement required prudence. Failure to refine a Gu could inflict backlash on the Gu master's body and soul. Injuries on the body were easier to resolve, but because of multitasking, the soul suffered damage which was extremely troublesome to deal. The higher the rank and rarer the Gu was, the more severe the consequences of failure. Thus, refinement Gu masters would often be seriously injured or become bedridden because of Gu refinement failures, and sometimes the backlash even led to deaths. It was not that Gu which could heal the soul did not exist, but they were all extremely rare and were usually kept secretly by the large clans. The injuries to his soul this time would inflict light dizziness to Fang Yuan for over a month. This dizziness would affect Fang Yuan's battle strength and such a minor gap could be fatal in a battle between experts. Thus Fang Yuan usually attempted this after an interval of a month to let his soul have enough time to recuperate. Gu refinement failed, but today's cultivation was not over. Fang Yuan waited in meditation. A short while later, he heard a knock from outside. He opened the door and welcomed Bai Ningbing. Over this course of a year and a half, Bai Ningbing made rapid progress and also reached the 3rd inner city, having assembled a set of Gu worms. She was on par with Fang Yuan and rarely suffered losses. They were called the 2 new stars of this generation in the battle stage and received attention from many people. The 2 did not speak and only nodded to each other. Bai Ningbing sat cross-legged on the opposite cushion and placed her palms against Fang Yuan's back, pouring her snow-silver primeval essence. Bai Ningbing was intentionally suppressing her cultivation and thus, was still at rank 3 peak stage. In contrast, Fang Yuan's cultivation was advancing rapidly and was now only half a step away from rank 3 upper stage. 4 hours later, Bai Ningbing stopped injecting the primeval essence and withdrew her palms. Fang Yuan slowly opened his eyes. His aura was even more abundant and there was a vague feeling of fullness. This was the sign of cultivation close to breaking through. My cultivation is getting close to rank 3 upper stage, I will break through within a few days. Fang Yuan calmly analyzed in his mind. After I break through to upper stage, I will use the white silver relic Gu and directly push my cultivation to rank 3 peak stage. Like this, I can catch up to Bai Ningbing, and also ease Spring-Autumn Cicada's pressure on the aperture. Spring-Autumn Cicada was Fang Yuan's vital Gu and was also a rank 6 Gu. Over this course of a year and a half, it had been continually absorbing the water of the river of time and its aura was growing stronger as it recovered, creating a pressure on Fang Yuan's aperture again. But the situation this time was many times better than the one on Qing Mao Mountain. Fang Yuan's cultivation was advancing rapidly, and with a rank 3 aperture, it was not as pressing as back then on Qing Mao Mountain. All this should be attributed to Bone-Flesh Unity Gu and Bai Ningbing. Cultivation ended, Bai Ningbing stood up and left the secret room immediately. During the whole process, she did not say a word and her expression was cold as ice. Fong Yuan was also not someone who spoke a lot. Over this year and a half, the two were already used to interacting like this. Fong Yuan inwardly pondered, when I reach rank 3 peak stage, Bai Ningbing's primeval essence won't be of much help to me. But from this long period of interaction with her and from the minute changes in her aura, I can vaguely feel that she isn't far from rank 4 realm. Even if Bai Ningbing was trying her best to delay her cultivation, the curse of the 10 extreme physique had not disappeared and started showing its effect. According to what Bai Ningbing said, her aptitude had raised by 2% again and was now at 93%. Another 7% increase would reach 100% and she would regain her northern dark ice soul physique. If she reaches rank 4, her yellow-gold primeval essence would be of great help to me in breaking through to rank 4 realm. In some aspects, she and I are in similar circumstances. I have spring-autumn Cicada and she has northern dark ice soul physique. 7 days later, Fong Yuan received good news from Wei Yang. An auction. A rarely seen disaster appeared at Jufeng Mountain and destroyed Zhu clan. The remnants of Zhu clan had submitted to Shang clan city and are auctioning large amounts of their clan's collections to maintain their livelihood. Thus, there will be an auction held soon. After saying this, Wei Yang intentionally said to Fong Yuan, "Brother Fong, your luck has come. I have investigated and found there is a bitter strength Gu being auctioned this time." Wei Yang was clear of Fong Yuan's demand for bitter strength Gu. Fong Yuan had even requested him to make inquiries before. The main thing is everyone in Shang clan city are viewing this auction with importance. It will be difficult for young master Xianxia to play tricks. Wei Yang added. The conflict between Xianxia and Fong Yuan was no secret to Shang clan's higher-ups. Bitter strength Gu. Zhu clan. Fong Yuan's gaze brightened. Zhu clan had centuries of foundation, there was sure to be many useful things up for bidding now that they were selling their properties. Bitter strength Gu, which Fong Yuan had not obtained despite searching all over for it, was one of them. I have accumulated close to 1,000,000 primeval stones in the course of this year and a half. I have a huge chance of successfully buying the bitter strength Gu. Cases like Zhu clan's destruction aren't rare. In this world, besides human disaster, there are also natural disasters. Strong wind blows throughout the year in Jufeng Mountain. Although it is a spiritual mountain possessing spirit springs, the environment is really bad. There could be many treasures in Zhu clan storage. I need to participate in the auction. Fong Yuan immediately decided. What? Zhu clan has a bitter strength Gu. In a study, Xianxia slowly furrowed his brows. He was holding a document on one hand, the document contained most of the details of the auction. And his other hand was on the table, his index finger knocking on the surface. To think Fang Zheng's luck is so good, I did everything to obstruct him and it seems he is still going to obtain the bitter strength Gu. Even father is paying attention to the auction this time, it won't be easy for me to interfere. But, Fang Zheng, I won't let you get the bitter strength Gu so easily. I will also participate in the auction and make sure you suffer a huge loss. Xianxia could not help but let out a cold snort at the thought. He had always kept a grudge due to Fong Yuan's extortion. He was a narrow-minded and petty person, refusing to see Fong and Bai gain fame and status. He could only ease the hatred in his heart by seeing Fong and Bai's pain and suffering. Chapter 305, Auction, 1. Strong winds blow continuously throughout the year on Jufeng Mountain. Since its creation, Zhu clan village had been facing the threat of hurricanes. Ju clan village is situated at the top of Ju Feng Mountain, having hundreds of years of history. Contesting the natural disaster as mere humans, the clan often faced the threat of extermination, but they pulled through every time. But this time, they faced a giant hurricane that is rarely seen in 100 years. Ju clan village could not longer defend themselves, and was destroyed by the disaster. The terrifying hurricane destroyed the spirit spring, and many people in Ju clan died. After losing their village, they could only leave and come to Shang clan city, seeking refuge in hopes of rebuilding their home in the future. Commodity prices are high in Shang clan city. To live, they had to sell their assets. To Ju clan, this was a disaster, but to others, this was a rare opportunity. Although Ju clan was a small-size clan, they had their secrets for being able to live on Ju Feng Mountain and fighting the natural disaster for hundreds of years without falling. Ju clan selling off their assets made this auction very attractive to people. Once news got out, it attracted most people's attention in Shang clan city. 7 days later, the auction was held. At the auction, it was overcrowding with people and there were 0 empty seats in the large hall. The private rooms on higher floors were all sold out as well. Fang Yuan and Bai Ning Bing, using their purple thorn tokens, snatched a private room for themselves. Fang Yuan opened a slit in the curtain of the room, standing at one side feeling the rowdy atmosphere of the hall. At this time, the auction had not started yet, and nearly 1,000 people in the hall were talking among themselves, making a great commotion. Sigh, what a pity for Ju clan. After hundreds of years, they finally lost to the hurricane. Man really cannot contest the strength of the natural elements. Someone exclaimed. This is nothing much, new clans rise up and old clans get eliminated. Just like a few years ago, the 3 clans on Qingmao Mountain were wiped out together. Ju clan's demise was nothing extraordinary. Someone felt indifferent. Ju clan's tragedy is our happiness. I hear there are lots of good stuff in this auction. Someone was gloating at the clan's disaster. So many Ju clansmen entered Shang clan city, this will cause great disturbance to Shang clan city's economy. Someone predicted the future. At this moment, there was a huge commotion. Look, that is Shang clan young master Xianxia. Fang Yuan followed the voice and looked, seeing Shang Xianxia walk in from the entrance, taking large strides in. He had a muscular build and his steps were stable. He was 30 years old now, as Shang Yan Fei's eldest son. Greetings to eldest young master Xianxia. My respects to eldest young master. It is our honor to be able to see eldest young master in person. At once, many people rushed up and paid respects to Xianxia. Hello everyone. Xianxia did not speak much, smiling lightly as he calmly faced the situation. Finally, he walked into a private room under everyone's gaze. The auction house became quiet again. But soon after, a commotion rose again. Young Master Chao Feng and Fu Shi are here too. They had a great relationship since young, as expected, they came here today together. The 4th son Shang Chao Feng, still had a messy hair and a wild aura. The 13th son Shang Fu Shi was refined and delicate, looking like a scholar. The 2 talked as they entered the private room together. Their servants opened a path for them along the way, and they did not care about the surrounding people. Fang Yuan looked with a cold expression, squinting. In his memory, Shang Chao Feng almost managed to get the Shang clan leader position, he was Shang Xianxia's greatest competitor. He was wicked and devious, and had decisive courage, this was somewhat like Shang Yanfei. Shang Fu Shi was his greatest supporter, willingly going under him and had wits, being good at planning. In the future, when the righteous demonic battle at Tian Mountain occurred, he schemed and employed strategies that caused great damage to the demonic Gu masters, gaining fame instantly. The two, one was capable and the other was good at scheming, complementing each other. The former controlled the Gu battle zone while the latter controlled the auction zone. They were both important domains in Shang Clan City, being fully developed. Right now, these two were the third largest faction among the 10 contesting young masters. Before Shang Chaofeng and Shang Fushi entered their room, another group of people came. Shang Pu Lao, Shang Xuan Ni, and Shang Baishi walked in full of smiles as they spoke. These three were the 8th, 9th, and 10th children of Shang Yanfei. Because of benefits, they formed into a small alliance. They were the second largest faction among the contesting young masters as they had a strong collective force and were temporarily suppressing Shang Chaofeng and Shang Fushi. Shang Pu Lao controlled the brothels in Shang Clan City, he was a Casanova and womanizer. Shang Xuan Ni was in charge of restaurants and silk stores, having a large mouth and wide nose, 2 traces of yellow smoke came out of his nose when he breathed. Shang Baishi was short and fat, but was also a strength path Gu master. His core Gu was the turtle tire Gu, having the strength of 10 turtles. Shang Xuan Ni and Shang Baishi were strong experts in cultivation, while Shang Pu Lao had literary talent and fate with women. With the 3 as the head, 2 fighters and 1 scholar, they had great coordination. The 3 young masters did not choose a room, but sat in the hall. Shang Pu Lao had great interpersonal communication skills, everywhere he went, people followed. He spoke casually among the people, blending in perfectly, causing the scene to be even more lively. On his left and right, Shang Xuan Ni and Shang Baishi stood like 2 guardians. Shang Yanfei's children are all dragons and phoenixes among men. Fang Yuan sighed internally. He had a clear understanding of Shang Clan's 10 young master situation now. Right now, there were 3 factions among the young masters. The first was Shang Qiu. He was Shang Yanfei's eldest son, with just this identity, he had many Shang Clan elders and clansmen supporting him. The second was Shang Pu Lao, Shang Xuan Ni, and Shang Baishi, the 3 gathered into a strong force and were currently the center of attention. The third was Shang Chaofeng and Shang Fushi, hiding their strength and awaiting a chance to rise up. As for the others, Shang Yizi was a loner, having little influence. Shang Qiwen was bubbly and vibrant, but had no ambition. Shang Pai Xiu had great talent, but was too scheming. I want to help Shang Xianxia ascend to the throne, we cannot compete with the 3 factions. Although Shang Xianxia can cultivate, a forcefully awakened aperture only has C-grade aptitude, this is not a weak foundation, but 0 foundation. Shang Xianxia was Shang Yanfei's illegitimate daughter, and her mother was from Zhang clan. Zhang clan and Wu clan were very close, having much grudges with Shang clan. This was Shang Xianxi's political weakness. Every year, during the young master assessment, there is a great opportunity for Shang Yanfei's other children to rise up. In my memory, Shang Xianxia only became Shang clan young master after 6 years. But this is too long, if I want to make use of her, I have to get her up there as soon as possible. This year's assessment is a chance. Fang Yuan evaluated in his heart. To get Shang Xianxia into power, he had to deal with Shang Yanfei's other children. Since he could not deal with the 3 large factions, he will have to deal with the others. On this aspect, Fang Yuan had a plan ever since he entered Shang Clan City. Just as he thought about Shang Xianxia, she arrived. Numerous eyeballs were attracted to the entrance of the auction house. Shang Clan's 2 beauties. Really pretty. Young Master Shang Qiwen looks cute and innocent, but coming with Lady Shang Xianxia, she loses out in terms of appearance. The people discussed. Xianxia and Xianqi held hands and spoke as they entered the auction house. Xianqi wore a colorful dress, her face was like peach, soft and tender. Xianxia wore a green skirt, her black hair silky and her eyes shining like the moon. Her skin was white as snow and her lips were pink and tender. She looked elegant and graceful, gentle like water. When she smiled, it was pure and flawless, a perfect beauty. It caused people's gaze to become dazed. Beside the two of them, there were 4 servants. 2 of them were Tian Lan and Xiao Dai, Xianxi's personal servants. The servants blocked the excited young men in the hall, as Xianxia and Xiangqi walked towards Fang Yuan's private room. Brother He Tu, Sister Bai Yun. Xianxia greeted, unable to hide the joy and excitement in her voice. Shang Yanfei used the man-triumphing Heaven Gu to forcefully awaken her aperture. These 2 years, he used a lot of precious Gu worms to raise her aptitude. From the lowest 20% D grade aptitude, it slowly rose to C grade 59%, a step away from B grade. Shang Yanfei paid such a huge price to nurture her, and taught her personally. Xianxia felt his fatherly love, and her hatred vanished into thin air, enjoying the love and bliss. Shang Yanfei chose many Gu masters to teach her. Xianxia stayed home for most of the time, studying more about Gu master cultivation of her own accord. She was smart and mature, having faced some difficulties. She desired strength but was not arrogant, had strict goals for herself and improved by leaps and bounds, causing Shang Yanfei to be extremely pleased. This auction was a rare chance to relax. She had accepted Fang Yuan's invitation and wanted to come alone, but met Shang-Chi along the way. Fang Zheng, I came uninvited, are you going to chase me out? Shang-Chi laughed as she followed Xianxia into the room. How would I dare to, please take a seat. Fang Yuan invited her with a smile. Bai Ningbing sat at one side. Hearing this, she did not turn around, but remained expressionless. Shang-Chi gave this ice beauty a curious look, thinking, outsiders say Bai Ningbing is cold and arrogant, it seems they were right. Next, she looked at Fang Yuan. Actually, this Fang Zheng is also extremely arrogant. After reaching 3rd inner city, and winning all his battles, never having a single loss, many forces started recruiting him. Shang Chaofeng, Shang Qiu, Shang Pu Lao and others, they even held a banquet and invited him personally, but were rejected. These two being together, truly birds of a feather flock together. Shang Qi controlled Shang Clan City's battle stage. She was extremely clear of Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing's situation. Fang and Bai had never lost a battle since they joined the battle stage. They had overwhelming talent and were the most famous people in the battle zone. Their fame even rivaled the 2 great rank 4 Gu masters, Zhu Kai Bei and Yen Tu. Anyone could tell that their future was promising. If any of the Shang clan young masters get their assistance, it would be a huge boost to their force. But she, Shang Qi had no ambition, thus she did not send any invitations to them. Brother He Tu, it has been a while, are you doing fine? I heard you fought with a Gu master called Ting Jiulong. Shang Xianci sat beside Fang Yuan, her gaze fixed on him as she asked in concern. Fang Yuan laughed lightly, it has only been 10 days since we met, why is it been a while? As for Ting Jiulong, he could not even stop my advancement before losing. In this battle stage, only Zhu Kai Bei and Yen Tu are a threat, the rest are nothing to be worried about. Fang Yuan's calm words displayed his extraordinary pride and self-confidence, as Shang-Chi listened with shining eyes, and Shang Xinc's heart was moved once again. Chapter 306, Auction, 2. As time passed, more and more people entered the auction house. Look, That is one of the 5 generals of Shang clan, White Light Swordsman. Someone shouted. Wei Yang's title was the White Light Swordsman, he came as well. I have already checked, the bitter strength Gu you want is the 13th item. But, Xianxia is already in the 5th private room. I heard he purposely withdrew all of his assets, you have to be careful brother Fang Zheng. Wei Yang walked into the private room, giving Fang Yuan important information. According to logic, the sequence of the auction items should not be revealed, and the identities of the guests should be kept secret as well. But as one of the 5 great generals of Shang clan, Wei Yang controlled the intelligence agency Feng Yu Manor, thus it was easy for him to get all the information he wanted. Wei Yang patted Fang Yuan's shoulders, still feeling worried. Xianxia is not here for fun, he has at least 1,200,000 primeval stones on hand. The bitter strength Gu is a treasure for strength path Gu masters. Other than Xianxia, there are 2 more people who are your greatest competitors, one is Shang Baishi, the other is Zhu Kai Bei, you have to watch out. 10th son Shang Baishi had the turtle tire Gu, having the strength of 10 turtles, he was a strength path Gu master not inferior to Fang Yuan. He controlled the Shang clan city's substitute refinement zone, although there was not much profits there. His 8th brother Shang Pu Lao controlled the brothels and 9th brother Shang Swan Ni controlled the restaurants and silk stores, they earn buckets of primeval stones every day. If Shang Baishi wants the bitter strength Gu, as an alliance mate, the 2 of them would surely help. Other than them, there was still Zhu Kai Bei. He had rank 4 cultivation, dominating 3rd inner city battle stage. What did rank 4 cultivation mean? In an ordinary clan, he would be a clan leader. Zhu Kai Bei was a rank 4 Gu master, but remaining in the battle stage and rejected all of the invitations sent to him by all sorts of forces. I will not leave the battle stage unless I defeat Yan Tu, he declared. Yan Tu was also a rank 4 Gu master, and was the same as Zhu Kai Bei as half the sky of battle stage. Both of them vowed to defeat each other, and only after they became a true number 1 would they leave the battle stage gloriously. Yan Tu is a fire path Gu master, he would not have any desire for the bitter strength Gu. But Zhu Kai Bei was a genuine strength path Gu master, he had won numerous battles, only losing occasionally to Yan Tu, he had to have a lot of primeval stones on him. Thus, be it Shang Baishi or Zhu Kai Bei, they were Fang Yuan's competitors. I have some spare money here, use them for now. Next, Wei Yang passed Fang Yuan a primeval elder Gu. Shang Qiwen gasped, slightly surprised. She knew Wei Yang and Fang Yuan were close, but did not think their relationship was so deep. She had investigated earlier, this auction had a light-type Gu that would be useful to Wei Yang. To think he would hand his primeval stones over to Fang Yuan just for his sake. Looking at the elderly's cheerful expression, this primeval elder Gu had nearly 1,000,000 primeval stones. This means that Wei Yang gave up on his own Gu. Brother Wei, this. Fang Yuan showed hesitance, as he also revealed a look of gratitude. Say no more, accept them. I am only lending them to you, not giving them. From now on, I am your creditor. Wei Yang laughed loudly, not giving Fang Yuan a chance to reject, forcing the primeval elder Gu onto him. Xianxia at the other side also took out a primeval elder Gu. Brother He Tu, this is mine. In her primeval elder Gu, the Cloud Elder was frowning and upset. From that, one can deduce that there was around 100 to 300,000 primeval stones in it. This was the pocket money Shang Yanfei gave to her every month. She scrimped and saved, accumulating them and handed them all to Fang Yuan now. If I speak any more, it will be hypocritical. I accept it all, I will definitely repay you later. Fang Yuan laughed heartily, cupping his fists and keeping the primeval stones. Xianxia smiled lightly, not thinking about Fang Yuan's repayment. Even if she had to give these to him, she would not feel upset. But she knew, with his temper, he will not accept such a gift, thus she could only lend him. That's the way. Wei Yang nodded. He had high hopes for Fang Yuan, and liked his clear definition of kindness and grudges. At one side, Xianxia hesitated, but eventually did not take out her primeval elder Gu. Her gaze was flickering with light, as she changed the topic. Look, Zhu Kai Bei is here. At the entrance of the auction house, a strong and muscular man appeared. He was at the prime of his life, 8 feet tall. His skin was tightly wrapped around his muscles, layers after layers. When he walked, every step was the exact same distance, showing his strict and disciplined nature. He was like a tower, tall and straight, giving off a sense of pressure to his surroundings. It caused people to move away from him, but also look at him with respect and reverence. He was Zhu Kai Bei. Rank 4 Gu Master, the peak of experts in 3rd Inner City Battle Stage. Senior Zhu, my clan's young master Xianxia invites you to the 5th private room. Lord Zhu, my clan's young master Pu Lao is already in 4th private room, and has prepared a banquet. Sir Zhu Kai Bei, this is the invitation from my clan's young master Chao Feng, please accept it. At once, many servants crowded over, representing their young masters, and sent out invitations to Zhu Kai Bei. But Zhu Kai Bei snorted coldly, not looking at them, walking to the first row of the hall and sitting down. The servants looked at each other before helplessly leaving. Time passed, and after Zhu Kai Bei, another important person arrived. This person was neither fat nor thin, not tall or short, had a common face, but his features were strange. The left of his face was bright red, and the right was pale blue. The two colors split his face into 2 portions, from the center of his nose, 2 colors split on both sides. He is Shangbu Li, to think he came. Wei Yang told Fang Yuan immediately. It is him indeed. Fang Yuan nodded slightly, having a clear picture in his mind. Shangbu Li, titled Two-Faced Man, was the #1 general under Shang Yanfei. He had rank 4 cultivation, controlling Gu worms of fire and ice. He was Shang clan's most important subject, and was a clan elder in Shang clan, in charge of the trading of servants in Shang clan. His authority was higher than that of Wei Yang. When Shangbu Li appeared, it attracted many greetings and bootlicking. He had a proud expression, squinting as he walked slowly between the people, enjoying the feeling of being praised to the heaven. His authority was greater than the 10 young masters. The young masters can only control some of Shang clan's businesses, but as the #1 subject of Shang clan, Shangbu Li controlled the entire slave trade market in Shang clan. Shangbu Li, can you walk faster, dragging your steps like this, are you a man? At this time, an unhappy tone complained. With Shangbu Li's position, in Shang clan city, he was second only to the clan leader, who dared to be so rude to him. Shangbu Li heard this, and his heart shuddered, shrinking his head as he turned around, bowing to the person speaking. Lord Dr. Su Shou, Bu Li pays respect to you. The person who came was Dr. Su Shou. She was one of the 4 great doctors of southern border, and had rank 5 cultivation. She had once treated Fang Yuan's injuries. She still wore a white shirt, and her face was covered in a white veil, preventing others from seeing her appearance, but her body curves could not be hidden. Shangbu Li did not dare to look at her body, shifting his gaze to the floor beside her feet. Dr. Su Shou and clan leader Shang Yanfei had a complicated relationship. She had a high position in Shang clan. As Shang Yanfei's rumored lover, even if Shangbu Li had a million guts, he would not dare to disrespect her. Just don't block my path. Dr. Su Shou snorted coldly, bringing her 8 white shirt servants and walking past Shangbuli, entering a private room and vanishing from everyone's sight. Shangbuli rubbed his nose, laughing bitterly. There was nothing he could do in front of Dr. Su Shou. Not long after, many people appeared again. Yan Tu, who shared the same fame as Zhu Kai Bei, Shang Yan Fei's 5th General Yi Hua, Yi Bu Hui elder from Yi clan, Fei Wan Feng elder from Fei clan, and others. This auction is a gathering of experts. There are established Gu masters, new generation rising stars, lone warriors, and leaders of large clans. Among them, I wonder how many will become my obstacle. Fang Yuan thought. Sorry for the long wait everyone, the auction officially starts now. The hosting female Gu master had a young beautiful appearance as she stood on the stage using the sound amplify Gu. She knew everyone was impatient, thus she spoke quickly, and started introducing the first item. Frost Arrow Gu. Rank 4 Gu, shaped like a drain fly, its body was blue like ice, and its mouth was long and needle-like. This kind of ice-type Gu was a treasure in Zhu clan village. It was like Guyu clan who collected many types of moon-type Gu. Once the Frost Arrow Gu is activated, frost energy gathers and it shoots out an arrow of ice to quickly assault the enemy. As everyone knows, its greatest advantage is low primeval essence consumption, even a rank 3 Gu master can use it. The base price is 70,000 primeval stones. The female Gu master quickly introduced. 75,000. 80,000. 85,000. The bids continued to rise, until 90,000, and the speed decreased drastically. Gu Master's bids increased by 3,000, compared to 5,000 at the start. After the 100,000 benchmark, the 3,000 increment shrunk to 1,000. 110,000. Bai Ningbing said. The esteemed guest from 9th private room bid 110,000. The hosting Gu master raised her pitch. This was the first time a guest from a private room had bid. 120,000. Xianxia Zi's voice came out of 5th private room. Bai Ningbing squinted, calling, 130,000. Xianxia Zi quickly followed, 140,000. Bai Ningbing gave Fang Yuan a glance, saying, 150,000. Fang Yuan shrugged. This bid was obviously Xianxia Zi finding problems with them. Bai Ningbing was in the same room as Fang Yuan, thus she was targeted by Xianxia Zi. She was really under fire for no reason. 150,000 for a Frost Arrow Gu, I want you guys to suffer. In 5th private room, Xianxia Zi laughed sinisterly, not bidding anymore. Although Bai Ningbing bought the Frost Arrow Gu, she paid 40,000 extra. It seems Xianxia Zi is here with a vengeance. Wei Yang sighed. Xianxia also frowned, feeling worried for Fang Yuan. Chapter 307, Auction, 3. Take a look everyone, this is a 1,000-year wind willow. The female Gu master pointed at the item on the stage and introduced. Wind willow is a rare type of plant that is used in refinement as material. It only grows in a location where there is sufficient wind energy to sustain its growth. Because Jufeng Mountain has winds all year round, they can produce large amounts of wind willows. An ordinary wind willow is only a few decades old, or a few centuries. But the current auction item, it is 1,000 years old, able to be used in rank 5 Gu refinement. The base bid is 50,000 primeval stones. The auction starts now. Once she said so, people started bidding. 55,000. 58,000. 65,000. 70,000. The bids went up, as many people participated, most of them were professional refinement Gu masters. A 1,000-year wind willow is rarely seen. Even Zhu clan who had lived on Jufeng Mountain for hundreds of years, had only 18 remaining. Wind willow did not have tree branches, there is only the roots underground, and one stem. When the winds blow, this sole stem would sway with the winds, like seaweed underwater. The 1,000-year wind willow on the stage had been coiled up, but its length definitely exceeded 100 meters. Fang Yuan tried to intervene and bid, but that Xianxia immediately raised the bid by 5,000. Eventually, a refinement master obtained the wind willow, spending almost 100,000. The 1,000-year wind willow is the 8th item. During this period, whenever I bid for something, Xianxia would interfere. If I do nothing, he would remain silent too. It seems his sole purpose here today is to oppose me. Fang Yuan's gaze shone, gaining a deeper understanding of Xianxia's narrow-mindedness. Time continued to pass. 9th item, 10th item. What is displayed next is the 12th item. This is a chasing wind gu, rank 4 movement gu. It allows the gu master to have the speed to chase after winds. Base bid is 180,000. The female gu master's delicate voice reverberated in the entire auction house. 190,000. 200,000. 220,000. 250,000. Chasing wind gu was a popular auction item. Once it appeared, the first climax of the auction house appeared. Many people participated and bid, even the quiet private rooms started to bid for the item. Wind, light, lightning, cloud, these 4 types of gu were outstanding movement gu worms. Chasing wind gu was a rank 4 gu, it gave a great boost to the gu master's speed. Fang Yuan tried to bid, but Xianxia immediately followed after. Fang Yuan no longer said anything, as their bids were buried under the other people's voices. At times, new competitors entered the bidding, but more people gave up after seeing the absurd prices. When the chasing wind gu's price rose to 350,000, only 2 gu masters were left competing. One was Yi Clan Elder Yi Bu Hui, the other was Fei Clan Elder Fei Wan Feng. Yi Clan and Fei Clan did not have a good relationship, the two competed as sparks arose. Eventually, the chasing wind gu was bought by Elder Yi Bu Hui using 440,000. Although Fang Yuan had over 2 million primeval stones, he did not participate. Chasing wind gu contained the Dao mark of wind. If he used it, his beast phantoms would cause a huge disturbance to the gu, causing the effect to weaken. Thus, chasing wind gu was not a good choice for Fang Yuan. If this was the rank 4 fairy wind gu, I would buy it. Too bad this was merely a chasing wind gu. Fang Yuan had a recipe. He could use fairy wind gu, 7 shining stars gu and a few other materials to refine the fixed star gu, which was the main ingredient in refining fixed immortal travel gu. Dream travel, carefree travel, fixed immortal travel, liquor god travel, these were the 4 great movement gu. All of them were rank 6 gu. Dream travel could allow gu masters to enter other people's dreams. Carefree travel was best at dodging attacks. Fixed immortal travel could allow a gu master to teleport themselves to anywhere they want to go. Liquor god travel was the most special, and first appeared in, but that story is for later. Fang Yuan had his previous life's memories, thus he had the carefree travel gu and fixed immortal travel gu's recipes. Among them, the fixed immortal travel gu was most needed by Fang Yuan, but the success rate of refinement was extremely low. and he did not have enough materials for it either, thus he could only set it aside for now. Alright, for our 13th item, it is A, Bitter Strength Gu. The female Gu master introduced on the stage, but even without her explanation, many Gu masters' eyes were shining brightly. I have to obtain this Bitter Strength Gu no matter what, no one can stop me, 200,000 primeval stones. Before the female Gu master gave the base bid, Fang Yuan quickly shouted. Fang Yuan's words made Zhu Kai Bei unhappy. Youngsters are so anxious, I bid 250,000. 300,000. Shang Baishi also bid quickly. 500,000. Fang Yuan reported a frightening price. The entire auction house went wild. That voice, I think it is Guyu Fang Zheng. He sure is rich, bidding 500,000 just for a Bitter Strength Gu. He had won so many times on the battle stage, he is affluent and loaded. People sighed, while some Strength Path Gu masters had a bitter expression, they held some expectations towards the Bitter Strength Gu, and wanted to try bidding, but with Fang Yuan's bid, they were kicked out of the race before even beginning. Even the female Gu master on the stage was shocked. Bitter Strength Gu was rank 4, but Strength Path Gu worms had little requirements towards the Gu master in terms of primeval essence, rank 3 could barely activate them. Its market price was around 380,000, lower than the Chasing Wind Gu. To think that Fang Yuan bid 500,000 immediately, 120,000 above the market value. Youngsters these days sure have vigor. Zhu Kai Bei sighed, no longer competing. 500,000 primeval stones was enough for him to buy a few other useful Gu worms. 8th brother, 9th brother, Shang Baishi looked at the two young masters hesitantly. 9th brother Shang Xuan and I did not say anything, only looking at Shang Pu Lao. 10th brother, this depends on you. If you want to compete for it, we as brothers will support you all the way. Shang Pu Lao smiled and encouraged. Shang Baishi gritted his teeth, 500,000, it's too much of a loss. Never mind, let Fang Zheng take it. He also gave up. Fang Yuan's determined display removed two competitors for him. 500,000, going once. 500,000, going twice. 500,000, going thrick. Hold on, I bid 510,000. Right before the female Gu master slammed the hammer, Xianxia said slowly in his private room. Humph, Xianxia, you think you can stop me? 600,000. Fang Yuan immediately followed, speaking with strong disdain. Xianxia laughed coldly, I'll play with you if you want a Fang Zheng. 610. The people in the auction house started chattering. Fang Zheng and Shang clan young master are at odds. How can this be? Fang Zheng has the purple thorn token, and is an esteemed guest in Shang clan, he has no fear towards Xianxia's young master identity. But Xianxia is in charge of all the shops in Shang clan, and has great wealth. This will be a battle among tigers and dragons. 700,000. Fang Yuan shouted, Xianxia, you lost to me previously, you are a loser. It seems you have not been punished enough. Xianxia retorted, complete bullshit, we'll see who teaches who a lesson. 710. Once he said that, the crowd went wild. Xianxia and Fang Yuan's dispute was no secret to Shang clan city's higher-ups. But to ordinary Gu masters, it was news to them. At once, people started guessing why Xianxia has a grudge against Fang Yuan. Evidently, Xianxia lost in a fight to Fang Zheng before, and wants to take revenge. Why bother with the reasoning? Young Master Yazi is well known for his pettiness, even if a bystander knocks into him, he will take revenge. Fang Zheng is a lawless brute, it is no wonder that they would have conflicts. You are both wrong, I heard already. Xianxia and Fang Zheng went to Qin Yan brothel before, and were interested in the number one lady there. But eventually Fang Zheng got her, and that led to Xianxia's animosity. Real or fake? Someone expressed doubt. The person who spoke earlier showed a fearless expression, pointing at a seat. Look there, that is Lady Anew, you don't have to doubt me, just ask her. Thus, everyone sent a curious gaze towards her. Lady Anew was stunned too, not expecting herself to get involved, but she suddenly saw among the people, her pimp was winking at her. She immediately understood, this was a way to get famous. For a brothel prostitute like her, only such news would be able to raise her worth. She did not answer, but lowered her head, blushing. Once she did that, most of the suspicious people believed it. So that's what happened. Looking at Lady Anew's expression, the answer is clear. You guys do not know the true story, but I do. In history, beauties are always paired with heroes. Why do you think Lady Anew likes Fang Zheng? Why? Hee, because Xianxia is thin and weak, he has a weak lower body. But Fang Zheng is strong and energetic, every one of his strikes carries the all-out effort Gu's vigor. The impact of the wild boar, the slamming of the brown bear, the twisting of the crocodile tail, the force of the horse, the stamina of the green bull, and the endurance of the stone turtle. Hee, such a man, which lady would not like him? Oh! Immediately, many men understood. Some girls squeezed their thighs together, their faces blushing as they were deep in their imaginations. Lady Anew's head was lowered even further, thinking happily in her heart, I'm on fire, I'm going to be famous. Just as the auction house was filled with rumors and guesses, Fang Yuan and Xianxia's competition had reached 810,000. Fang Zheng, with me here today, you are bound to lose. Give up, you are not my match. Xianxia laughed happily, he added 10,000 every single time to piss off Fang Yuan. You think I am afraid of you? It is merely 810,000, so what? Fang Yuan snorted coldly. Young master, this is enough, we should stop now. A servant carefully observed and advised. Xianxia hesitated, I know. Fang Zheng is adamant on getting the bitter strength Gu. After he bids, I am going to bid once more, and stop. This idiot, spending more than 800,000 to buy a bitter strength Gu, it is almost twice the market price. I can finally vent this anger, it feels so good. Ha ha ha. At this time, Fang Yuan continued. But this time, I shall let you off. You can have the bitter strength Gu. Servant. Xianxia. Chapter 308, Auction, 4. I'm afraid Xianxia's face is green now. In the 9th private room, Wei Yang laughed uncontrollably, but brother Fang Zheng, is it really okay for you to not get the bitter strength Gu? Beside him, Xianxia gave Fang Yuan a look of concern. Fang Yuan laughed, I must get the bitter strength Gu no matter what, but I am not idiot, spending 810,000 primeval stones on a Gu. I would rather refine it myself, 810,000, it is enough for many tries. The chances of failure is very high, it will harm your body brother Hey Tuesday. Xianxia expressed her worry. Fang Yuan shook his head slowly, he had others' plans for this, but he could not tell them. This Fang Zheng played Xianxia like a fool. He spent 810,000 on a bitter strength Gu. The spectators watched with shining eyes. Xianxia, that idiot, this is a disgrace to all of us young masters. The Shang clan young masters were furious. To say the truth, Fang Zheng's acting was superb, even I was fooled by him. Someone sighed. The person on the spot is baffled, the onlooker sees clearly. I knew something was amiss long ago. Someone claimed that he knew. Xianxia is so petty and enjoys revenge, thus he kept raising his bid. But Fang Zheng also failed to get the gu he wanted, thus they were both losers. This is why you cannot bring feuds into the auction house. Zhu Kai Bei thought in his heart. The real winner is the auction house. Zhu clan must be overjoyed, one bitter strength gu for 810,000. Everyone discussed among each other. But the truth is, they forgot one big winner. That is, Lady Anew who shot to fame. Clink. Xianxia smashed his cup on the ground, breaking it. In fifth private room, the servants knelt on the ground, breathing as silently as they could. Xianxia sat on his seat, breathing roughly as veins popped up on his forehead, his face flushing with rage. He was tricked. 810,000, spent on a bitter strength gu he could not even use. Xianxia felt his own heart bleeding. The truth is, he was smart. After that setback, he learned his lesson and became wiser. For the last 2 years, he worked hard and managed the shops very well. But character decides your fate. He was petty and spiteful, hatred made him lose his rationality, thus falling for Fang Yuan's trap. Fang Zheng, if not for the poison vow gu, I will definitely kill you, I will chop you into 1,000,000 pieces. Xianxia screamed in his heart. The auction continued. 14th item, 15th, 16th, 18th, 28th. Another climax occurred, as the atmosphere livened up, and people quickly forgot Fang Yuan and Xianxia's conflict. The 32nd item, rank 4 atmosphere gu. The female gu master said. Atmosphere gu was shaped like a butterfly, having a pair of blue wings. Each time it fluttered, there would be sparkling dust created in the air. It was a very attractive sight. Atmosphere gu was a unique gu, it absorbed life energy and was born from the wind. It was a natural gu. Up till now, no recipe master had been able to develop their recipe. There were 3 types of recipe masters. Those that looked at the past, studying the ancient strength path, chi path and other gu worms recipes, attempting to restore them. Some looked at the present, studying naturally formed gu, attempting to produce their refinement recipe. And those who looked at the future, creating new and innovative refinement recipes from afresh. Atmosphere gu was not only created in a unique way, its use was also unique. It could be used on a race or group, using an invisible force to create a habit or hobby that affected the entire group. In ancient times, gu masters used it to deal with beast groups. If they were dealing with a group of steel needle boars, the gu master would use the atmosphere gu and target them, giving them the habit of rubbing their skin on rocks. The steel needle boar's fur were like steel needles, it was offense and defense in one. After rubbing on the rocks, they would get damaged, and the gu masters would be able to deal with them easily. But later, gu masters eventually realized that the atmosphere gu was the perfect weapon in ruling tribes or clans. Some clans lacked food, but loved to brew wine. After using the atmosphere gu, they removed the habit of brewing wine, and they had more food to eat, allowing the clan to develop better. The atmosphere gu could not only be used to deal with internal habits, but also external. In history, there was a very famous example. 2 clans were in conflict, the weaker one used the atmosphere gu and caused the stronger clan's women to have the interest to bind their foot. That caused the women in this clan to become unable to carry out laborious tasks. The female gu masters also experienced a fall in strength. Eventually the weaker clan overthrew and wiped them out. At the end of the day, this was a gu world, and there were all sorts of unimaginable gu worms. The female gu master introduced the gu before saying, "Atmosphere gu, base bid is 260,000 primeval stones. 300,000. E-clan elder E Bu Hui bid first. 350,000. Fei clan elder Yen Wan Feng was equally tough. 370,000. A recipe master shouted. 380,000. Wei Yang spoke. He was in charge of Feng Yu Manor. He wanted to use this atmosphere goo to make his subordinates work better. 500,000. Feng Yuan shouted. The crowd was silent. Feng Yuan was silent for a while, but this voice made everyone recall, it was the person who tricked Xianxia previously. 500,000 for an atmosphere goo. Feng Zheng, you still want to con me? Do I look like an idiot? Xianxia gritted his teeth, his eyes burning with rage. He had just spent 810,000 primeval stones. If he spends another 500,000, he would go bankrupt. 500,000, going once, twice, thrice, sold. The female goo master announced. 500,000 was slightly above everyone's budget, no one bid anymore. The atmosphere goo was effective on a clan or force, but had little use towards individuals. It made many people feel indifferent towards it. Brother Feng Zheng, you could have gotten this goo for 460,000. Wei Yang sighed. Xianxia had a different interpretation. No, considering Yi clan and Fei clan, those two elders might compete and raise the prices above this. Bidding 500,000 made both of them reluctant to bid. It was a good call. 460,000, 500,000, it is only 40,000 more. Brother Wei, I will keep this goo then. Feng Yuan waved his hand, not bothered by it. Why, don't tell me you want to rebuild Guyu village. Wei Yang was shocked, not expecting Feng Yuan to be interested in the goo. Earlier, he thought Feng Yuan was bidding for his sake. Of course I need this goo, but the reason will have to kept secret for a while longer. Feng Yuan smiled, but did not elaborate. Humph, acting secretive. Bai Ningbing hated this side of Feng Yuan. She knew he was scheming again and kept her guard up. After the atmosphere goo, it was a set of eating wind goo. 38 eating wind goo, grouped into one set and auctioned together. Eating wind goo was only rank 2, but had a great use. It allowed the goo master to consume wind and fill their stomachs. Ju clan was situated on top of Ju Feng Mountain. They specialized in wind-type goo. The eating wind goo was one of their specialties. Time continued to pass. 34, 35, 38, 44. Feng Yuan did not bid anymore, but Wei Yang tried once and successfully bought a light-type goo, getting what he wanted. Bai Ningbing also bid 3 times, eventually getting a rank 3 tornado goo. Just as Feng Yuan lost all his interest, the final 49th item was displayed. This is the greatest treasure we have for this auction. It is not a goo worm, and is not a precious refinement material, but it is a recipe. The female goo master introduced. Next she added, this recipe, because it is extremely precious, it has not been appraised yet. This sentence made everyone curious. Normally, precious refinement recipes would have to be appraised carefully. Because, once the recipe is handed to a recipe master to appraise, there is a danger of it leaking. Recipe, it is best if less people know about it. A recipe that is known by everyone, is worth less than a blank piece of paper. The female goo master was experienced, thus she did not speak but let everyone digest the information. Seeing everyone deep in thought, but gathered their gaze on her once again, the female goo master smiled, throwing a bomb at them. This recipe is regarding the Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus. Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus? Did I hear wrongly? Rank 3 Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus, rank 4 Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus, rank 5 Heavenly Essence Treasure King Lotus. This series of Gu worms are too famous, I can easily recite them. This is the immortal Venerable Genesis Lotus Core Gu. I heard whoever is able to refine the rank 6 Heavenly Essence Treasure Imperial Lotus would be able to receive the immortal Venerable Genesis Lotus Inheritance Ground. To think Zhu clan had such a treasure. The people in the auction house were bursting with excitement. The female Gu master continued, since everyone has an understanding of the Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus, I shall not explain further. This is a recipe involving the refinement of the Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus. The starting bid is 500,000. The price of the recipe was much higher than Gu worms. The recipe of the rank 4 Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus was even more expensive than the Monarch Lotus itself. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. In theory, with the recipe, you will be able to create many Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus. Hold on, I have a question. Does this recipe require the Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus as the refinement material? Fong Yuan suddenly asked, shouting at the top of his lungs. The female Gu master's expression changed, she did not want to answer, but Fong Yuan was the owner of a purple thorn token. She had been avoiding this question, but did not expect Fong Yuan's mind to be so astute, asking the most crucial question. She had no choice but to confess, although in principle, we do not reveal the details of the recipe, but with Shang clan's integrity, this recipe does indeed need the Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus as the main ingredient. Everyone gasped. The Heavenly Essence Treasure Lotus is needed as the main ingredient, where are we going to find one? No wonder Zhu clan did not refine the Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus despite having this recipe. What use does this have? We can't do anything with it, this is too awkward. That was close, thankfully Fong Zheng asked that question. Mostly importantly, this recipe's authenticity has not been appraised yet. This recipe was kept as a treasure by Zhu clan, it definitely is something good. I will bid 520,000. A recipe master bid. Even so, the recipe regarding the Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus still had great attraction to some Gu masters. 550,000. 580,000. The bids went up, slower and slower, until it stopped at 660,000. 670,000. Wei Yang was the last to bid, as he obtained this recipe eventually. Chapter 309, Xianxia's Aspiration. With Wei Yang's successful bid of Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus's recipe, the auction ended. Zhu clan was after all a clan which had stood for centuries, it possessed deep foundations. Many auction participants obtained something from their collection while others were able to experience new perspectives. It is rare for everyone to gather together, do not leave now, let me host a feast. Fong Yuan urged everyone to stay. In a restaurant, there were all kinds of delicacies, fine food and liquor, placed on jade plates. Brother Fong Zheng, this is the recipe you wanted. After 3 cups of wine, Wei Yang took out a heart-engraved Gu and gave to Fong Yuan. Heart-engraved Gu was like a ladybug and was finger-sized. Its whole body was scarlet red, and on its round carapace were 4 white heart-shaped spots. Heart-engraved Gu was a storage-type Gu. It was almost the same as bookworm, they were used to store information. Heart-engraved Gu was a series of Gu that could range from rank 1 to rank 5. A rank 1 heart-engraved Gu only had 1 white heart-shaped spot on its carapace, while rank 2 had 2 and so on. This heart-engraved Gu Wei Yang took out had 4 spots which meant it was rank 4. But, using a rank 4 heart-engraved Gu to store the recipe of Heavenly Essence Treasure Monarch Lotus was also normal. Fong Yuan had spent 670,000 primeval stones for this recipe. He had made Wei Yang bid to avoid suspicions. Seeing this heart-engraved gu, Fong Yuan did not accept it but said, "Since brother Wei Yang had already refined it, it will be better for you to use it now so that I do not have to refine it again." "That works too." Wei Yang nodded his head and poured his primeval essence. The heart-engraved gu turned into a thin flow of pink light with a soft crackling sound. Under Wei Yang's control, the light flow entered Fong Yuan's heart and disappeared instantly. Immediately, a recipe appeared in Fong Yuan's mind containing the method to refine heavenly essence treasure monarch lotus. The main gu worm for the fusion, all the supplementary materials, every step and every matter that needed attention was mentioned in it. The contents could not be forgotten even if Fong Yuan wanted to forget them, as if they were deeply imprinted into his heart. This was the ability of heart-engraved gu, granting a deep memory like it was etched into one's bones and heart. A feeling of happiness emerged in Fong Yuan's heart. "I have heavenly essence treasure lotus, but it is only rank 3. It is still worth using now, but when I reach rank 4, its use will immediately dwindle. Now that I have this recipe, if I can refine heavenly essence treasure monarch lotus in the future, it will no doubt be a great help to me." Fong Yuan did not know heavenly essence treasure lotus recipe. Obtaining this recipe was an unexpected joy. Although this recipe had yet to be appraised, with Fong Yuan's plentiful experiences, he was able to give an initial judgment that the probability of this recipe being fake was very small. Otherwise, Shang clan would not have put it in the auction. But I still need some gu to deduce it further and prevent any traps or errors. Now that I have bought this recipe, I am afraid some people have some thoughts about it. There will definitely be many people guessing if I have a heavenly essence treasure lotus. However, heavenly essence treasure lotus might be rare and precious, but it is not one of a kind and troublesome like the blood skull gu. Otherwise, I would not be able to brazenly buy this recipe. Now, my gu set assembly is nearing completion, and with my cultivation breakthrough, I have fewer worries and there are not many problems in buying this recipe. If it was before, Fong Yuan would not have bought this recipe so openly. But now, he was only half a step away from rank 3 upper stage, which he could reach in a few days. After that, he would use white silver relic gu and reach rank 3 peak stage. His strength was completely different from when he first came, with the purple thorn token protecting him, plus most people were only guessing. The consequences were something he could accept. Calculating the time, Fang Zheng had already been in Shang clan city for over 2 years. His rapid development was really shocking. Heavenly essence treasure lotus. Wei Yang thought while drinking wine, but did not speak out. Could it be Big Brother He too has heavenly essence treasure lotus? Xianxia also inwardly guessed but did not ask. On her first day of cultivation, Shang Yanfei told her about the many taboos of gu masters. One of the taboos was to not casually inquire about the gu worms other gu masters possessed. To gu masters, their gu were their butter and bread. It was their private matter, their secret and their trump card. Once their gu worms were exposed, it was very easy for others to target them. Thus, among gu masters, it was a great taboo to ask what gu worms the other held. Fong Yuan has heavenly essence treasure lotus, so he bought the recipe. This is understandable. But why did he give up bitter strength gu to buy atmosphere gu? Bai Ningbing was sitting without speaking. She thought for a while but she could not see through Fong Yuan's move. Sigh, it would have been good if I was able to become a young master. Shang clan young master has an opportunity to apply for 3 gu worms every year from the clan, and the clan will search for the gu without any charge. Shang Xianxia said with a sigh. This was a great policy by Shang clan to nurture their young masters. As long as the requests were not absurd, Shang clan would gather its strength to get the gu the young masters wanted. If Xianxia became a young master, it would be as easy as flipping her palm to get a bitter strength Gu by borrowing the whole clan's strength. Fong Yuan had been searching for bitter strength Gu since long ago. One finally appeared in the auction, but Xianxia prevented him from obtaining it. Xianxia wanted to help Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan patted Xianxia's shoulder and smiled, "It does not matter. Who knows, maybe that Xianxia might hand over the bitter strength Gu to me." Second brother spent 810,000 to buy that bitter strength Gu, he has already become a laughingstock due to it. Wanting him to hand it over of his own accord, I am afraid it would not be possible. Shang Qiwen shook her head from the side, thinking Fong Yuan was indulging in fantasy. Could it be Big Brother He too has already thought of a plan? Xianxia's eyes flashed with brilliance. Wei Yang and others also looked over curiously. Fong Yuan pointed at Bai Ningbing, looking confident, "Everything is thanks to Ningbing." "Me?" Bai Ningbing was stupefied. "Speak quickly, what clever idea do you have?" Everyone could not help becoming more curious. "You will find out in 2 to 3 days. Please wait till then." Fong Yuan laughed. He then looked at Xianxia with a solemn expression, "Xianxia, do you really want to become a young master? Becoming a young master means entering the political whirlpool and you will no longer have the freedom to act independently. You are now clearer of Shang clan's situation than me. The competition between Shang clan young masters is very intense, the struggle is even more bloody. If you want to become a young master, you will fall into this dangerous conflict." This was the most crucial of matters. Fong Yuan needed a clear answer. If Xianxia did not have such an aspiration, there was no point in helping her. Under Fong Yuan's shining gaze, Xianxia smiled, "Big Brother He too, even now, do I really have freedom? I am also completely helpless in this." The whole journey to Shang Clan City after joining the caravan was filled with untold dangers. I narrowly escaped death many times. I have reflected upon it, the world is an ocean and we are small boats on it. The small boats seem to be drifting freely with the flow, but most of them are helpless. Only with high cultivation and influence, can the small boat turn into a big boat and be able to resist the trials and hardships, to provide a safe area for the ones we care about. Xianxia's words were ordinary and did not seem to contain any passion, but everyone could feel a heroic emotion from her. "Great. You have aspiration." Wei Yang laughed. Shang Qiwen also threw an amazed look. She had interacted with Xianxia for a fairly long time now but had never expected the latter to conceal such grand aspirations under her gentle appearance. "My Missy is a genius in business, she is more than capable of being a Shang clan young master." Xiao Dai stood behind Xianxia and interjected proudly. "Xiao Dai." Xianxia was embarrassed as she gave Xiao Dai a stare. Xiao Dai simply stuck out her tongue. "Huh, she is right. In that case, both of us will lend you a hand and help you become Shang clan young master." Fong Yuan laughed loudly as he felt a relief. It was not strange for Xianxia to have such an aspiration. Poor children matured early. Xianxia's childhood was not blessed as she was frequently bullied by her clansmen. She became clear of the cruelty of the world even more in the caravan due to her own negligible weak self. No matter how gentle the person was, they would still be greatly affected by such experiences. However, Xianxia's nature was kind, different from Fong and Bai. She wanted to become strong, not only for herself, but more for the happiness of the people around her. This year's young master examination has already passed. Sister Xianci will have a chance in the coming year. But, the competition for the young master's position is very intense. Lord Father has a lot of children, while there is only one young master position available every year, the number of competitors can amount to hundreds. Xianxia chuckled and gave advice to Xianxia. However, she disapproved of this in her heart. Xianxia's cultivation was very low, only at rank 1 upper stage now. Her aptitude also was not enough, not even having a B grade aptitude, so she did not have potential for development. Her mother was from Zhang clan, which had deep hatred against Shang clan. This was her greatest political disadvantage. She was alone with no supporters, who would help her. Her only advantage was that Shang Yanfei doted on her. For her, Shang Yanfei paid an enormous price, almost defying heaven, changing her hopeless aptitude into one which could cultivate. This was a treatment that none of his other children received. However, this advantage was also a disadvantage in some aspect. Xianxia was isolated. And even Xianxia was envious of her inwardly. All these reasons made Xianxia unlikely to get the young master position, the chances were extremely slim. Fang Yuan naturally was clear of these disadvantages. In his previous life, Xianxia became a young master only after 6 years. But things have changed. Xianxia was a lone force in his previous life, but in this life she has Fang Yuan's help. Xianxia, do not worry. With me helping you, there is no need for next year, I will help you become a young master this year. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. Then I will wait and see. Xianxia had a smile on her face while inwardly curling her lips in disdain, feeling that the more Fang Yuan spoke, the more unreasonable he became, boasting so wildly. Wei Yang put down his wine cup. Brother Fangzheng, the competition for Shang clan's young master position is not a small matter. As an elder of the clan, I cannot interfere in this. There is no need for Brother Wei Yang's help. The plan had already been made 2 years ago, and it is all thanks to Ning Bing. Fang Yuan smiled. Instantly, the gazes of everyone concentrated on Bai Ning Bing. Becoming the center of attention, Bai Ning Bing still maintained her indifferent expression, but doubt started rising in her mind and she could not help but curse secretly. What does this have to do with me? Ning Bing, calling my name so affectionately, does he really think our relation is that great? Chapter 310, You Shameless Scoundrel. In the blink of an eye, 3 to 4 days passed. Bitter Strength Gu. In the study room, Xianxia held the Gu in his hand, his eyebrows folding into a crease, as he had an overwhelming urge to crush this Gu worm to death. But he had to control himself. This bitter strength Gu cost him 810,000 primeval stones. If he crushed it, his heart will ache. Every time he looked at this Gu, Xianxia felt extremely gloomy. He had an illusion that the bitter strength Gu was soundlessly mocking him, reminding him of his stupidity every single second. At the auction a few days ago, he was tricked by Fang Yuan in front of everybody. Right now, he was a laughing stock. Even his surrounding clansmen refused to meet him. Never mind if he was an idiot, but he was a Shang clan young master. Such a deed brought shame to the entire Shang clan. As a Shang clan young master, Xianxia's every action represented Shang clan and carried its image. His performance at the auction was not only a humiliation to himself, but also dragged the pride and glory of his Shang clansmen through the mud. As for Shang Yanfei, he did not say a word regarding this matter. But this made Xianxia feel even more uneasy. No, I must salvage my reputation. I have to make sure father looks at me in a different light, I must change my clansmen's impression of me. Xianxia gritted his teeth, deciding in his heart. Fangzheng, you dare to oppose me, and played me like a fool. I will make sure you pay a terrible price. His eyes shone with a dark sinister glow. flickering as he thought of ways to deal with Fang Yuan. After this matter, his hatred towards Fang Yuan had reached a tipping point. It was hatred that seeped into his soul. Young master, there is trouble." At this moment, a loyal servant came over, shouting in front of the study room. "Why are you so frantic? Is this the proper decorum? Get in here." Xianxia scolded unhappily. The room door was pushed open, as the servant kneeled on the floor, his face flushed with terror. "Young master, there is trouble. There's a rumor going around, it has spread all over Shang Clan City. It says that you and Fang Zheng had once competed for Lady Anew, but you lost to him. That resulted in a grudge between you two, thus you went to find trouble with Fang Zheng. Lady Anew? That Qin Yen brothel's prostitute? What rubbish is that?" Xianxia curled his lips, laughing in disdain. But the servant continued, "They are also saying, you had a secret deal with Fang Zheng in order to pass the yearly assessment, and faked the accounts." "What?" Xianxia heard this and howled, his expression changing. He jumped out of his seat, causing the brush and ink on his table to vibrate and fall. The servant continued carefully but anxiously, "Young master, the rumor is so elaborate, they even have the transaction time, and the exact amount of the account is circulated. It seems the clan's internal affairs hall has been alerted, and they are sending Gu masters here to investigate the matter." "Huh?" Xianxia was dumbfounded, as if lightning struck his brain. At that instant, his face went pale, like blood drained out of his body. His heart palpitated, his body went soft as he almost fell onto the ground. Holding on to the study table weakly, he propped himself up. This impact was too quick, too heavy, too sudden. "I'm finished, completely finished. Once the matter of the fake accounting is exposed, I will lose the position of young master. This violates the clan rules, even mother cannot protect me. There is no point in begging father either. Once I lose this position, there are countless people waiting to devour me." As the crisis struck, Xianxia was extremely frightened, falling into a state of panic. "How can such news circulate? I was completely careful during the deal, other than Fang Zheng, no other person knew. Impossible, it's impossible." Xianxia muttered to himself as his expression was in a daze. He was still too young, without any life-threatening dangers to train him, although he managed the shops for 2 years, and had good management skills, he only scratched the surface. Once a problem occurs, he becomes shocked and helpless. Nanqiu Garden, the pavilion in the middle of the lake. Light winds blew, causing small waves to form on the surface of the lake. The lake was not big, the edges were made of stacked-up rockery stones. On the surface of the lake, there were large lotus leaves, connected together like a chain. The pink-white flowerbud had not opened yet. Gold and orange carp swam in the water, surfacing at times. The pavilion was made of bricks and had a colorful roof and red pillars. It was obviously meticulously designed. In the pavilion there was a chessboard, and 2 youngsters were playing. One young man wore black clothing, his eyes dark like the abyss. The other was a female wearing white clothing, having silver hair and blue eyes, showing a cold expression. It was Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing played for a bit, before looking outside at the lake. "This Xianxia is really stupid, his reaction speed is so slow. I sent out the rumor long ago, why hasn't he come here yet?" "No worries, I have instructed the guards to let him in, he will come." Fang Yuan smiled, showing his confidence of being in control of the situation. After panicking, Xianxia would definitely suspect Fang Yuan. Thus, he would come over and investigate the situation. Even if he had no suspicions, he would come to convince Fang Yuan to cover up for him, to survive this investigation by Shang Clan. Bai Ningbing squinted her eyes, sighing, Fang Yuan, I am really impressed, you actually managed to exploit this loophole in the poison vow Gu. You planned this from 2 years ago, didn't you? Just waiting and enduring, until the time was ripe to activate this trap. Fang Yuan smiled, playing his chess piece as he answered, Xianxia is a petty man, he will definitely take revenge. Why would I leave such a threat around? I did not use this earlier because Xianxia just had arrived in Shang clan and did not have a foundation. Gone with Xianxia, and in comes Xianxia, that is beneficial to both of us. Bai Ningbing did not speak anymore, but her eyes were shining with blue light. In her heart, she felt a chill. Fang Yuan's schemes came one after another, closely connected. Once a person steps into it, it is like being in quicksand, trapped and helpless. The most shocking part was, he planned this 2 years ago after predicting this situation. Such foresight, it gave people chills. Xianxia was courting death by being enemies with him. Fang Zheng, where are you? Get out here now. Xianxia's furious screams finally came. The pavilion on the lake was not concealed at all. After Xianxia was informed by the doorboy, he quickly found Fang and Bai. Fang Zheng, you still have the mood to play chess. Do you know how far the rumors have spread? Tell me, was this all done by you? Xianxia came to the pavilion, pointing at Fang Yuan as he shouted furiously. Fang Yuan turned his body around, speaking plainly, if this was done by me, would I be alive? Xianxia, I can't believe you are getting dumber and dumber. Did you forget that we used the poison vow Gu together? Xianxia snorted, his anger subsiding slightly. Fang Yuan was right, if he was the culprit, he would have been dead already. Now that he was sitting there safe and sound, it meant the rumors were not due to him. But Fang Yuan's next sentence sent him into pure rage. Although I did not create the rumor, my companion Bai Ningbing did. Xianxia was stunned, his relaxed face turned bright red, like a meteor entering the atmosphere. An intense rage grew in his heart. It was you, it was done by you. You bitch, I am going to kill you. He screamed, his eyes red with anger, as he stared at Bai Ningbing like he was going to devour her. His aura was insane, like a leopard or wolf trying to attack its prey. Oh. You want to strike here? Attack me? Bai Ningbing slowly stood up, her absolutely stunning face was cold as ice, as her icy tone contained strong disdain. I am rank 3 peak stage, I have never lost a single battle in the battle stage, and I possess the purple thorn token. Do you really want to fight to the death with me? Xianxia's facial muscles twitched as he gritted his teeth, his eyes burning with fire as he stared fiercely at Bai Ningbing. He did not attack in the end. He was rank 3 upper stage, and lived in an ivory tower all his life. He was not Bai Ningbing's match. At the same time, Bai Ningbing had the purple thorn token, something Shan Yanfei gave her personally. Fang Zheng, you went back on your word, you will die a painful death. How did she know our deal? No wait, you went back on your word, why are you still alive? Did you find some way to disable the poison vow Gu? Xianxia turned to look at Fang Yuan, feeling uncertain. No, no. Fang Yuan shook his head, the poison vow was, you and I will keep it a secret, and we cannot divulge the information to an unknowing third party. But before the poison vow Gu was used, I already told Bai Ningbing this matter. Thus, she was a knowing third party. The rumor was also not let out by me. It was all Bai Ningbing's effort. Thus, I did not violate the poison vow at all. Xianxia opened his mouth wide, showing a dumbstruck expression. Now that Fang Yuan mentioned it, the vow was indeed like this. Then why did he not find out this loophole back then? 1. Because of his mindset, he did not think Fang Yuan would tell Bai Ningbing before they even discussed the issue. Cannot divulge the information to an unknowing third party, just looking at this sentence, there was no problems. Second was because he was the one who initiated the use of the poison Vow Gu. Fang Yuan looked unprepared and caught off guard, but he had actually predicted it long ago and was just trying to numb Xianxia's senses. Third, Xianxia wanted to remain as a young master, and had no other ways. He was anxious, and because the vow reciting was extremely painful, he could not think properly. But now that he knew, it was already too late. Fang Zheng, you shameless scoundrel. You dare to trick me and deceive me like this. You are a despicable scum, so extremely despicable and shameless.